Imagine a design project so complex that it requires dozens of stakeholder groups from across the globe to deliver it. And imagine them collaborating seamlessly to deliver a world-class building ahead of schedule and under budget, regardless of location, discipline, or software tool sets. Imagine them working together in a single project ecosystem, planning, designing, building, solving challenges, and making swift decisions based on deep insight, driving up profitability, driving down coordination issues. Welcome to the future of project delivery. Autodesk is transforming the way we work by developing an entirely new system for the BIM project lifecycle, from design through construction. This platform unifies everyone in a common data environment, building owners to architects, engineers to general contractors, eliminating the complexities of today's project collaboration process. Gone will be a lack of insight due to companies working in design and data silos. Gone will be incompatibility concerns like unique software tool sets, different IT stacks, or inefficient handoffs that hinder collaboration and slow momentum. And gone will be the headaches of working with multiple global teams and relying on phones, file servers, and emails to communicate. This is the Autodesk Cloud made fluent in BIM. Beyond a place to simply store or share files, it will be the foundation for how teams deliver projects. Here will be a single project environment where design and construction teams will collaborate, design, review, and build as if in a single location. Here, insights into clashes, model changes, and quality control are easily accessible. Here, independent systems and tool sets work as one. Here, the design and construction teams are connected, with project documentation available in real time to those in the field. And here, all stakeholders are provided access to the right version of the right data in the right context and on the right device. When it comes to delivering projects, it is often the process that defines the success of the project. Welcome to a better process. Welcome to the future of project delivery. Delivered by Autodesk BIM 360.
I have to let it yeah, so that's collaboration for Revit. Just once again, I want to ask, how many architects do we have in the room? Okay, structural guys. Do you have any engineers? Contractors? None. Okay. They're always a missing link. But from this, we've got the right crowd, right? And in this presentation, I'm just going to show you how you can all collaborate in one platform, right? And currently, the trend that's driving AEC collaboration is acceleration of BIM adoption. We've seen a lot of professionals adopting BIM, right, from within their own institute, right? Another trend that's also driving this adoption of collaboration is project delivery methods that are changing from internally in the institutes or in your companies, right? A lot of you guys are adopting Revit or other means of accessing BIM information, right? And teams are becoming more distributed across locations. We've got big players that have offices all over the globe, and they still need to work on the same projects, right? And also, cloud and mobile are connecting AEC processes, right? You can now do work from your iPad, you can check drawings from your phone and stuff, right? And technology a few years ago, like 5 years ago, you couldn't do that with your architectural model. But collaboration is still a challenge, right? You'll see on the slide, we've got an engineering firm, architecture firm, a general contractor, and all these different bodies or members of a project have their own little systems that they follow internally, right? For example, under architecture, you got your BIM collaboration, document management, mail, forms, interface management, inspections, checklists, bidding and tenders under engineering firm, and unfortunately, these processes do meet somewhere, right? There's a time where an engineering firm will need to send out a tender to to contractors or subcontractors. So that's a lot of information that's going around in a project, right? And hopefully BIM 360 or what Collaboration for Revit does, it solves this problem, right? Current tools that we use are not built for design data, right? We get a lot of, you still get Dropbox users, Google Drive, email, right? Some guys still send out PDFs on email. They're nice tools, they work, but they're not built for the design environment, right? For example, email, you got your servers, right? In a platform like that, it's hard to share outside of your organization. Internally, a lot of organizations have good network setup. All right, Dropbox, like I mentioned, Box, or I don't want to pick on any companies, but these are solutions that are out there, these are solutions that we use currently. For example, if you go onto Drive or Dropbox or Box, you can upload a Revit file, you can upload a Navisworks file, but you can't view it. There's nothing you can do with it, you understand? And these are things that we're encountering in the industry, right? And also other BIM document management tools that are built for construction or for project management, but not necessarily fit into the systems that we use or the authoring tools that we use. Right, so this creates a problem. You guys understand? You agree? Or no, not really, you agree, right? It creates a problem. It creates a problem on communication, working on current drawings like your previous speaker, VJ, spoke about, and we all need one single source of truth when we're working on projects, and without wasting time on uploading and downloading your models, right? The way the industry is reacting, we've seen, like I mentioned earlier, there's more investment in improving your collaborative processes with your external parties, right? And this study was done by McGraw-Hill, and this was 2014. It has increased a whole lot as well, where we've seen a lot of investment going into collaborative solutions, right? And there's more investment in improving collaborative infrastructure, and there's also more partner requirements to use BIM on projects, right? A lot of our clients and developers are asking for BIM models. We find some of them just asking for a Revit model, but a professional team, you might find maybe a structural guy still working on AutoCAD, right? And that creates problems, obviously, right? The return of investment that we see, or that are being reported, we got faster access to knowledge. When I say knowledge, I mean current models, current drawings that have been shared. You got reduced travel costs, because when you're collaborating, the method I'm going to show you, you don't need to travel. You don't need to print out drawings, send it out to a meeting in Cape Town. You can do everything remotely, right? There's reduced communication costs. There's high employee satisfaction, and also increased profits. Okay, I'm just going through the businessy stuff very quickly, okay? And then we'll go into the demo. And then Autodesk Collaboration for Revit, why would we push this? Because it gives you that easy access to project data. It's a nice way to enhance, more efficient way to enhance communication on projects, and it really connects the entire project team, okay? And you will see now as we go into it, okay? Previously, VJ in the session before, and what you saw earlier this morning, we spoke about BIM 360, right? And BIM 360 is Autodesk's basically BIM in the cloud, right? We've all heard, we know what building information modeling is, your Revit file, or any other BIM file, right? So this is basically taking BIM and making it connected BIM, placing it in a cloud platform, right? Now, the tools that we use to deliver this are tools like Collaboration for Revit, BIM 360 Docs, BIM 360 Glue, Field, Plan, Layout, Ops, and Team, right? And in this session, I'll just be talking about Collaboration for Revit, right? I actually see this as the heart of all this, right? If we don't collaborate efficiently, Docs becomes useless, Ops becomes useless, Plan becomes useless, etc. You understand? And yeah, so that's, let me not rush through it. So that's our project delivery platform as Autodesk. Okay, and the platform that I'll be looking at is BIM 360 Team and Collaboration for Revit. Okay. Right now, a lot of times, yes, I was talking to another architect earlier this week, and they still had this notion, this myth, that when you're working in a BIM platform using Autodesk software, you can only use Revit files, right? And I'd like to tell it that's not true. It is an open BIM scenario that we have, and when you're working on BIM 360 Team, specifically, you have access to over 100 different file formats, okay? And in this case, for project documentation, you can view, right, your Microsoft files, you can view media files, other design formats, right, and also other design files as well, right? And which makes it, you're not limited to just work with a Revit person, you understand? Although this is on BIM 360 Team, okay? And this is what it looks like. Right, it's available obviously on mobile, on your desktop as well. Also on your viewer, you could also easily find your drawings, right? As you create your sheets and your title blocks, those title blocks and sheets are also uploaded to your BIM 360 Team, right? And you're easily able to do markups and measure from that project as well, right? You can share your model with colleagues, right? And also start doing, when you share a file, it's literally just sending a link, right? You don't need to upload it for like 2 hours. You just upload it once and share it with your colleague just by sharing a link. What this will do, it'll open up a viewer on their side and they'll just view the model on their browser, right? Another useful tool that I'll go through a bit later is your live review, where 2 users sitting at different geographic locations are able to start reviewing a project live as they sit in front of their machines, right? And I'll take you through all these tools again, right? Now, the functions I showed you here, this is all on BIM 360 Team and readily available for you today, right? And you can log on to your BIM 360 Team account or A360 and start exploring these functions, right? Hopefully we'll have time for questions and answers at the end, okay? Right, so what you're seeing, there's 2 users just reviewing and commenting on a project, okay? Now, the reason we push collaboration for Revit, this is real-time collaboration, right? This real-time collaboration would involve all stakeholders on a project, right? And easily connect the entire team to one BIM model, okay? And I'll show you how that works right now, okay? Is anyone here using collaboration for Revit already? Just a few, right, okay? Cool. Now, I'm just getting into some product demo, right? And the first thing that you need to do when you're setting up collaboration for Revit, you need to set up your BIM 360 Team account, right? As you purchase a collaboration for Revit seat, it comes through with BIM 360 Team, right? The BIM 360 Team is a platform that will host your Revit model. It's a platform that will allow you to share your Revit model on the cloud and also do your live review stuff, okay? The authoring still happens on your Revit file, on your Revit project, right? Now, what we're seeing here, as you log on to BIM 360 Team, you're able to go on and click on Create Project. You simply give your project a name, hopefully it should have a name, right? And you can upload a rendering to give like a rendering image as an image for the project. In this case, we're just clicking on a default image found on the site. This creates the project, right? And currently, there's nothing uploaded to that project yet, okay? You can upload, maybe I should just pause some sections, yeah? Right, in that section there, when you create a Revit project, right? For some of you guys, this is new, right? You should make that file a closed project for it to work as collaboration for Revit. You'll see there's 3 project types in there. There's an open project. When a project is open, it is open for anyone that's invited to that file, and they're able to open it, move it around, do comments and stuff. When it's closed, you have to be invited to that file to share info and share data, right? And a secret project is only available to members and the project, right? And you can just see it. There's really nothing much you could do to it, okay? Right, so when you upload that file, you make sure it's set to a closed project type. You click Save, right, and your project settings are currently set up. The next step would be to start inviting members to your project, right? And to do that, you just simply need their email address. They get a link on their whatever emailing tool they're using, and they're able to accept or reject your invite, right? As they accept that invite, they become part of the project, and they'll get notifications as activities are done on the project. But there is no limit to the amount of members that you can invite. Right. Now, with BIM 360 Team, you can also set different project roles. Right. You've got an editor and also a viewer. An editor is basically a contributor. Right. So if you're going to be collaborating with other consultants on your project, the people that you invite should be invited as editors, because they will be uploading and sharing data with you. Are you with me? Right. Okay, after that's all done, you then go back to your Revit file or your Revit project, and you start setting it up as a work sharing file, right? Do we all, Revit users, do you use work sharing? Right, you work off a central file, right? Now, the idea here is the same as work sharing currently in your local network. Instead of saving your file on your local network, you're basically saving it in the cloud, in your BIM 360 Team account, right? Now, back into Revit, you'll go into Collaborate, and I'm sure you guys have noticed that terminology when it comes to work sharing has changed, and it's more aligned with your cloud services, right? So you'll see at the top of the screen there, you've got a little Collaborate tab, right? In the Collaborate tab, instead of clicking on Work Sets, you'll click on Collaborate, and Revit will ask you, obviously, to save your model, okay? And after saving it, it'll ask you if you want to collaborate in your network or collaborate in the cloud, using the cloud, right? And if you're using BIM 360 Team or collaboration for Revit, you then collaborate using the cloud, okay? That just basically saves your central file in your cloud project. We'll then select the project that we just created, right? You can change the Revit file name at this stage, and you just basically click Start, and it starts uploading the file to your cloud. The initial upload does take a bit of time, but from this point onwards, you're just sharing data, like small little cache files, instead of uploading a 500 meg or a 100 meg file to the cloud, okay? That's how simple it is. So work sharing doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the file, where the file is located. You guys with me still? Right. Right, and opening this Revit Models, I just want to pause here. You'll notice this Revit file that we just uploaded now has a little cloud symbol on it, right? That indicates to you that that file is a BIM 360 file, right? So from your start screen, you can immediately see which files are sitting in BIM 360 Team and which files are sitting locally on your network, right? Right, so to open it, Revit creates that local file for you, right? So if you've ever worked in a work sharing environment, you have to go to the server, click on the central file, and then click Create New Local. With this method, you don't have to do that. That local file is created for you as you open it from your BIM 360 account, right? And from this point onwards, everything is straightforward. You'll see as you open the file, right? As you open the file, because it's a cloud-hosted file, your Communicator tool also opens up as well, right? Now, this Communicator tool is a tool that will enhance communication between your users or the people in your project, and you're able to keep track of activities and any communication that needs to get done on your project between your consultant or your professional team, right? I will go into detail on this Communicator, okay? Right, now that whole process, when you're working on a collaboration for Revit platform, your structural guy would do the same thing, Your mechanical guys will do the same thing. And hopefully your civil guys or your civil guys will do the same thing with their projects, right? And those projects all sit in the same location, right? Now, as you're working, you'll then start linking in your structural engineers file into your architectural space or vice versa, right? And to do that, I just want to show you how you quickly create that or how that scenario would work, okay? Right, so what we have here is an architectural file, and we're going to be linking in a structural file. Right, process is still the same, the workflow is still the same. You can go to your Manage tab, click on Manage Links. What you're seeing there, that file is currently sitting in a different location, and we need to reload it from your BIM 360 location. Right, so you just pause here. Okay, so you'll see at the top there, that little symbol there, that little cloud symbol there. If you've updated your software, you don't see a little cloud symbol in there, you'll see a BIM 360 logo. Right, so all your BIM 360 or collaboration for Revit project will sit in that location. I can't see this little cursor. Right, and you click in there, you access your project, and you're able to click any user files to bring it into your project. Right, are you guys with me? Okay. The advantage of this, when the structural guys or the building services guys do a change on their model, they'll just synchronize or publish it to the cloud, and immediately when you open up your project, you receive those changes. Right. So you don't have to wait for them to upload a file, download it, save it at a different location, and then link it. So you have direct access to the consultant's file that they're working on. Okay? Right. I know it's a bit scary because you don't always want to share your projects, but you actually, inside of Revit, you have control of what you'd want to share. Right? Let me just play this. And then basically, you just select the consultant's file and then link it back into your project. Now, as I click open here, I'm selecting the structural file. That little error that you're getting, the structural guy had attached or linked an architectural model, and Revit picks that up, so the architectural model doesn't get brought in. You only get the structural information back in your environment. Okay, you'll see at the top there you now have, it now shows BIM 360, right? Instead of the previous location that it had. Right, does it make sense? It's simple. It's not daunting, it's straightforward. Right. Now whatever changes that you make, you can then upload it back to the cloud, and the structural guys will do the same process. I kind of default to architectural because I've got an architectural background. Right, I'm not leaving out the MEP people. Okay. Now as you're working, you need to synchronize. So there's two processes for this. You still synchronize as you synchronize locally in your company, right? But then you also then publish back to BIM 360 team, right? And once again, a very simple process. Okay. Let me just fast forward this a bit. Right, so as you're working on Revit, to synchronize, you still go to your synchronize tool, right? You'll notice in there, it's basically synchronizing to your BIM 360 location. So the address is changed as well, right? As you synchronize, you place a comment as you should, right? And all these comments and synchronizations are seen by the rest of the team, as I'll show you in a moment, right? And in this case, you click synchronize. This process here, you're not sending out an RVT file, right? You're literally sending out a cache file, right? That's how quick it actually goes, right? So, and that synchronization process is only with the people that are work sharing internally with you, right? So you're not synchronizing data to the rest of the project team. You're still following your workflow, and once you're ready to publish to the rest of the team, then they'll see your project that's being issued or the file that's being issued to the rest of the team. Does it make sense? Okay. Very useful tool that we have in here is a little Communicator tool, like you just saw previously, right? And this Communicator tool comes up when you open up a BIM 360 team file or a collaboration for Revit file, right? If it doesn't open up, that tool is found under your Collaborate tab, right? And just on the left of the screen there's a little Communicator icon, right? So you click on Communicator. This will take you, is this thing moving? Okay. You click on Communicator. This will take you to your project, right? Immediately you're able to see everyone invited in the project. Your active users, it's going a bit too fast, I just want to pause it. Right. Your active users, people that are actually working on the project as you log in, will have a little green dot, right? When they're not logged on, it just switches off, right? So immediately, as you open up your project and your Communicator tool pops up, you can see who's currently working on their central file, right, or on their project, okay? This communication tool keeps track of activities done on the project, like for example, in this case, if you look here, right, if you look here, you'll see every single time someone synchronizes to that file that you're working on, you can see that they are synchronizing, right? And if you've been using work sharing in Revit for a while, you know this can be a bit of a headache, right, when everyone synchronizes at the same time, right? And over here, you can keep track of who's synchronizing and decide when to do your synchronize, right? Remember, this is still internal in your own workflow, and it hasn't been published to the rest of the team yet, okay? Right, so those comments that we don't normally put in, they are quite important, because in this case, every time when someone synchronizes, you can actually see what they've done, right? And that's the idea with those whole comments on this. So you keep track of the changes being done on the project. Right, so that's your Communicator tool, and we've opened up an active model. You can see the comments on there. And if there's any issues with that synchronize, if the internet drops or whatever, right, you'd have a little cross on there. You can immediately see that this file hasn't been synchronized. Right. Are you guys following this? Is there something that you think can change your workflow or make your life a bit better? Really, I'm seeing a few nods. Okay. I just want to get ahead of this. Okay. Right. So, as you synchronize, you then need to go and publish your project. Right. So you're done synchronizing. Everyone has done their work, and you're ready to share with the rest of the team. You click on your Manage Cloud Models tool, go into here, and open up your collaboration project. Now this section here basically allows you to manage the files that are shared with the rest of the project team. Right, so remember, internally you're sharing information, you've shared work sets, and you're working together and you reloading latest and synchronizing. Once that's done, you then go into your Manage Cloud Models and start publishing your project. Right? Now what you see on there, there's two little icons, right, do have a function, right? So the first little one that we've hovered on there, right, allows you to rename the file if you ever have to, but the most useful tool there, it allows you to relinquish for those users who forget to relinquish their work sets, right? So as a BIM manager, you're able to then relinquish all the work sets and then publish it out to the cloud. Right, I'm just going to go back there for a little bit. Right. You'll see on there what you're seeing here. These are all the lists, all the files that have been synchronized. Right. So it hasn't been happening, but it still happens where a file gets corrupted, right, and you have to like restore back. So this little Manage Cloud Models tool also allows you to restore previous Revit files, right? So there's a change or there's an issue with the current file, you can always go back and restore a previous file. You guys with me here? Right, and another very useful tool I want to show you on this is basically how you chat and capture information using this Communicator tool. Right. So currently, in this case, you're working on your project. You realize that there's something wrong with the file, or you needed to make a change to the project. Right. So you open up your project. On the right here, open up your project teams chat. Right. Let them know what you're working on. Right. And to do that, instead of taking a screenshot and creating an email to send out to your team, where you know you might get an excuse later on, right? You can literally see who's in the project team, create a little message, right? And using these tools here, go in and create like a little screenshot of the changes that you've done. This is not a markup tool. This is just purely just a communication tool. Nice, good thing about this is everything is internal, right? It's on the project, so anyone can log on at any time and see the changes done on the project, or the chats that are being done on that project, right? So in this case here, user has just placed a request to another user, right? And this hasn't really worked well because we didn't have an efficient way to communicate with other users in a work sharing environment. But with this, you know the user is logged on, you know they're on the machine, and they can immediately see your request, right? Just basically chatting. Instead of using WhatsApp, right, or Skype, you could use Revit to do that. Okay, right. So the other user, you'll see the green border, open up the project, and they're able to see the chat and grant permission where they have to grant permission. Okay. You can add text to it and then send it immediately to whoever needs to get that notification. Right. Now, that's an internal workflow, right? That's something that you would do internally with your project team, with your colleagues, right? And after that, you then publish the project to the rest of the team, to BIM 360 team. That BIM model will sit in the cloud, and it has other tools that you can access now from BIM 360 team. Now, I just want you to make you aware that the tools that you're seeing here, I'm using a web browser in this case, but you get the same functions on a mobile device like an iPad, Android tablet, or your cell phone. Okay, right. You'll see on the right there, we just basically, clicked on a component, and you're able to see all the properties that will be authored in your Revit software. Right. So I'm just, what's going on here? Right, so as you click on a component, you got a little properties palette. You're able to see information assigned to it, and this could be from any consultant, right? And this is useful. Right, it is useful. You need to know what you're working with as well. And obviously this goes into BIM 360 field. It goes back into the contractor when they start putting the project together. What we're looking at is a 3D view, right? This opens up all the categories that you find in Revit. So for example, if you type in door in that case, it will highlight or fade out the rest of the project and just filter out the doors in the project, right? So from inside BIM 360 team, you can easily start filtering out things that you want to work on, right? And this is very nice for owners or project leads on a project. If you've put in a request for information, or you've requested for a change in a file, you can easily filter through that BIM model sitting in your cloud, right? In this case, this is just a duct. Every single duct placed in the project is recognized on BIM 360 team. Okay, your sheets as well. Remember I mentioned earlier the sheets that you'd have in Revit, you can publish them to your cloud as well. And as you open that up, it doesn't end as a sheet only. It's not just an image or just a PDF. You can actually pull information out of those title blocks as well, right? In this case here, we're just creating a markup, right? You've got your different markup tools at the bottom there. Right, you can change text as well. You can use normal rectangular tools, circles, etc. Or you can create a little freehand markup around your drawing. Right. Obviously, this gets saved as part of the project and it gets assigned to a relevant person on that project. Okay. Right. In this case, you just, what are you doing here? Yeah, we're adding a comment to a component, right? Instead of just placing a comment on a sheet, you're able to place comments on a component as well. Okay, and that also gets assigned to a specific person. Obviously invited onto the project. Okay. We just go back to our 3D view, right? You got your navigation tools at the bottom here, right? Able to click on an object and also add comments to that project, to that object as well, right? It's the same thing happening here. We're just creating a markup around an area in a 3D view. That 3D view gets saved as a little JPEG and gets added onto the comments list as well on BIM 360 team. Okay? Right, so in this case, you're commenting on an object, and if this object gets deleted, the comment does stay in your project info, in your project data. Right? But in this case, that's assigned to an actual component and not just floating around in the image. Okay. On the far right of this interface, you'll see there's a little comment section. All the activities, in this case that VJ was doing, BIM 360 team kept track of it. Right. So anyone in this project can actually see what's happening on this project. Right. Okay. See, problem is VJ is not like a little robot. He's like right behind us over there. Okay. Right. Right, so you can easily start communicating and acknowledging comments done in the project, right? Another very useful tool that you saw on there, BIM 360 team allows us to compare versions, right? And let me just pause here quickly. Right. Now, as you're publishing your Revit file to your BIM 360 team platform through collaboration for Revit, BIM 360 team keeps track of all those files. Right, so they don't get deleted, they don't get overwritten. Right, so if you want to compare versions and see any changes done on the Revit file, you can easily do that on BIM 360 team. This is one of my favorite tools that you have in BIM 360 team, because currently I know a lot of us are still sitting with emails and printed out drawings to see where the changes have been done. Now, we compared two versions, version 2 and 1, and immediately you can see on the right there, you can see objects that are added, objects that are removed, and objects that were modified in that BIM file, right? In this case, we're looking at a modified component. At the bottom there, you can also see the disciplines that were affected. When you click on that component, you can see the different changes that were done on the project. Click on version 1, you see where it was, right? And when you click on version 2, you see where it's been changed to. Right. It is a nice way of visually seeing changes in your project. There's not just hard changes, also metadata. Right. If you change a property like your fire rating on a door and not necessarily change a family, BIM 360 team will also keep track of that. Okay. Right. And that information is very difficult to keep track of in a BIM model as it is. Right. Now in this case, there's just a metadata change or position change for a door. On the right there, you've got different disciplines. You've got your MEP disciplines, structural, and also architectural, which then allows you to filter out the different components as well. Okay? All right, I'm just going a bit ahead. Another very nice tool with BIM 360 team is your live review, right? You basically initiate it from BIM 360 team. Right? It opens up another page on your browser, and you're able to then copy this little link and send it through to a consultant that you're working with. Right? Or you sitting in Cape Town and you need to update a model, you just send it to your colleague in your office. They'll open up the project or open up the link into a browser and immediately land on the same view that you are on. Right? Now, in this case, because we're using one screen, we're basically just going to split the screen in two so you can see the changes that the other user is doing and seeing what the other user will also be seeing as well, right? So as he's an active user, you can see where he's positioned with that little red dot. Any selections that it does, you're also able to see it on the left. This changes the game a bit because now you can easily discuss a model from from your different locations. Okay, right. We're not kicking out coordination meetings. This just makes life a bit easier for you. Okay, this is still that BIM model with all the property information on it. You can add comments to it. You can add markups. You can measure it, etc., etc. Okay. Right. So these are just a few tools that you find in BIM 360 Team. Right. Is something useful? Okay, cool. At least you're nodding. I'm getting something. Right, and just a few customer success stories that we collected. The Buchan group that they used this collaboration for Revit and BIM 360 Team. The significant thing with these guys, they had 75 users, right, in 7 global offices, right, working on a project that was over $5 billion US dollars, right? 75 users in 7 global offices, right? And they were able to successfully collaborate this project, right? With those guys, BIM 360 Team and Collaboration for Revit allowed both different firms basically to work together, once again, in different global locations, right? These guys here they were working on an airport in Dallas. It was a multi-billion-dollar project, and the design team, the entire project was done in Revit. There was no AutoCAD or anything. It was just everyone worked on Revit, right? And I'll just let them talk about this one, right? And I just want you guys to look at this. Okay.
The most important thing about the airport is the movement of planes and people. Los Angeles World Airports hired Corrigan and the Gensler team to design the new midfield satellite concourse.
It's about 1.2 million square feet. It has a new concourse, has a passenger tunnel, and it has a gateway building.
This was an opportunity to work with another architectural firm to come together to provide great design and great service to our clients.
Many times when multiple architectural firms will associate, they look at how they break work apart. In this case, we decided to commingle the team all the way from the top management down to how we actually produce the document. We have members of each firm working side by side.
BIM 360 Team is used by both the design team and the construction team, and primarily allowed Corrigan and Gensler to work as one seamless team. We use Collaboration for Revit on a daily basis to simultaneously work on Revit models. We have folks in all of our offices, Phoenix, LA, Dallas, accessing the models at any given time. Using BIM 360 Team or Collaboration for Revit allows us to be flexible in how we access our data. If I need to pull in an expert from Houston or New York, I don't need to go through a process of trying to send them files, zip them, and do all those gymnastics that we used to do in the past. The mobile apps on the iPad have been extremely useful in team meetings, and our ability to share, move around the model, look at the model digitally definitely helps in real-time conversation.
One of the big benefits is the owner is literally in that model as well, looking at things and making sure that they're happy. Previously, we had to look at drawings and we had to hope that they understood a 2D drawing. They're actually able to understand three-dimensionally as they're moving through the model. So it's really changed their ability to understand, and in reality has actually reduced our amount of time necessary to get through design.
BIM 360 Team and Collaboration for Revit has provided us some incredible cost savings when it comes to infrastructure. Relying on the cloud for our model hosting also eliminates requirements for local servers, maintenance on servers, server updates. You can actually take design further with the same dollar.
We never shy away from using new technologies. It's about how well we integrate with all the other players and how well we communicate with them. That's inevitably the success of any project.